Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Shake it, but keep pointing out all the lies. Putting the scripture right in your eyes. The Bible guy. He reads Hebrew and Greek and shows you that your book's not unique. The Bible guy. He turns through the pages until every Christian rages. The Bible guy. Watch one time and you're hooked. Now let's watch why the Christians get cooked. The Bible guy.
Howdy, everyone. This is Dalton the Bible Guy coming at you live from Northeast Texas. Here's to hoping that we get some interesting calls today. Don't forget, everyone, that if you are in the YouTube chat and you've got super chats you want to send, we'll be reading it in the sexy voice today. And if you want to come up and have a discussion with me, if you're opposition, you got to make sure that you come over to the TikTok channel. And we'll be having those fun discussions. Let's see whether or not anyone can give me a reason to believe that the Bible is true. How do you do today, Ashland?
I'm McSneezy today.
McSneezy today. Love to hear that.
Dude, I was eating chocolate chips earlier, and I had to sneeze in the middle of eating chocolate chips. My wall was covered in chocolate.
Ew. Okay. Anyways, we're gonna bring up our first guest for today's live, Hodge. Hodge, I'm gonna ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yep, I'm 18.
Question number 2: are you a Bible believer?
Yep, so scriptura.
All right. Question number 3: how much of the Bible have you read?
The whole thing.
And then final
Don't
question.
quiz me though.
And then final question: what are your pronouns?
I'm Zay Zem.
Zay Zem?
I'm fluid. I go by any pronouns really.
All right. I'm Dalton. Hodge Zay Zem. I am Dalton the Bible Guy. I don't believe that the Bible is true. Tell me, Hodge, why should I?
Yeah, because the Christian God exists, and the Christian God exists, then conditional on that the Bible is true. It's real simple stuff.
Well, can you demonstrate that? I don't think you're.
I'll give you easy proof. Real simple proof, son. So, premise 1, there exists a set C, such that C contains all not gods. Does that make sense?
What was that?
Yeah, so premise 1 is there exists a set C such that C contains all not gods. Right?
I still didn't understand what it is you just said. Could you enunciate, please?
I'm saying, well, are you familiar with like propositional logic before I continue?
Nope.
That
It sounds like a weird version of set theory, but...
Oh, wait, Quaternaut, do you know about this?
I haven't heard this specific argument, but I do know about set theory.
Oh, yeah, okay, that'll be good then. Okay, so basically, premise 1 is just saying there exists a set C such that all of C's elements are just negation G. That's all it's saying.
I still
Negation
didn't understand.
What?
Are you understanding the words he's saying?
A little bit. I'll
think
try to translate it as the point is made. We'll see.
Okay, so premise 1 is just, I'll just put it simply, there exists a collection, right? And all the things in the collection are just not a certain thing. They're not God, right? That's really true, because, we exist, we're not God.
They're just all things that are not God?
Yeah. But I'm trying to apply that set theory, so the set itself contains all things that are not God. You agree with that, right? So it contains all not G.
I think you're like, is that... Yeah, I think you're just saying it wrong.
No, this is how you'd write out.
I am actually interested in this argument because I do like set theory. I think that set theory arguments are very interesting and fun, but I am just trying to pin down. So the set, we'll call it set C, is or set A, I guess. Let's go alphabetical.
Yeah,
is the set of all objects that are not God, or what?
Yeah, it's a set of all not G.
So as far as I know, that's
okay. It's a set
that's everything. So all right, everything.
I mean, it might include things that don't exist. Like we haven't specified that.
All right.
Yeah, when I say exist, I mean in inflationary sense, the way mathematicians use exist, not to actually.
Sure. It also includes Superman, for example.
Yeah, well, that's under free logic, right? But that's completely fine. Premise 2 is just saying that C itself is either G or not G. Sorry, we should say A. A is either G or not G. That's just trivially true dichotomy.
The set itself is
either G
God
or
not
not
God?
G. Yeah.
Well, okay, so are we using naive set theory or like the modern set theory where a set of all sets can't contain itself and everything? Because otherwise we're going to lead ourselves into a contradiction here.
That'd be trying to naive. I'm using I'm using some of the axioms from ZFC, like the axiom regularity. But for
does this set contain itself? Is what I'm asking.
Oh, no, that's not possible. That exactly is not possible under the axiom, right? That's exactly the issue.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to nail down here.
Yeah, because if the set itself is negation G and all it contains is negation G, that just violates the axiom such that the other disjunct must be true under disjunctive syllogism. So that means C must be G then instead. And if that's
so
true, that means
really, the contents of the set are the set of all objects that are not God, excluding this set itself.
Well, hopefully, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, okay. But one of the disjuncts
we've established that this set A is not God itself, and B, everything inside the set is also not God, and contains everything that is not God except that the set itself.
Well, we'll just ignore the God part, just put it formally, and then we can import the semantic values to the propositional variables atoms, right? We could just say that. Okay, so there exists a set A that contains or not B, right? A itself is either B or not B, which is just true. So true dichotomy, right? Real simple. Then premise 3, via disjunctive syllogism, you would say that if C is not B, then C contains itself, which I'm sure you already know violates one of the axioms of ZFC. Right?
Oh, no, I see the mistake here. The definition of set A itself would be a contradiction under the modern understanding of set theory. You have to specify that all the objects contained within A include everything except the set itself. You would have to define it like that. Otherwise, you get into that contradiction. Otherwise, you'd be able to use the principle of explosion to say that anything exists. Because, say, you define a set of all things that are not Superman. Is the set itself Superman? No. Then, therefore, Superman exists. That doesn't make any sense. So,
what's the issue with that? I mean, what axiom does it violate?
Well, Superman doesn't exist. That's
completely fine, right? But what axiom does it violate in ZFC?
That you can't have a set that defines. You can't have a set contain itself that also doesn't contain itself. There's I forget which axiom specifically that is, but
that's the axiom regularity that specifies that a set can contain itself. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Sure, but you're, again, as I said, you're able to use that same line of logic that you're using to prove literally everything. So clearly, there's a mistake somewhere here.
Yeah, what's the issue? What's the issue? Of trivialism.
Are you saying that everything is true?
Well, I'm just saying trivialism is true. Which
Are you saying that are you saying that Superman is real?
This whole conversation has been trivial.
Yeah, this seems like you're just kind of shuffle around set theory jargon in order to say that God is real. But again, I can make the equivalent argument that Superman is real, and it would follow the exact same logical structure that you're proposing here.
Well,
and at that point, it's just a reductio. I mean,
how is that an issue? That's just to imply that there's some axioms of ZFC that if used in a certain way, elicit issues, which is just an issue of ZFC itself, not an issue. But it's also an issue.
Yeah, I don't know which axiom you're specifically violating. I think it's in the definition of how you're defining this set of it's a set of all sets essentially. But clearly there's some issue with the argument itself, and not and the conclusion is not valid, because we can use that same line of reasoning to show that literally everything is true.
Valid,
all
this wouldn't be sound. It would be valid if it wouldn't be sound, because the premises wouldn't be true. But look.
Well, yeah, as I said, one of the premises that you're using is not true. I'm not specific on which one, but...
Guest, my audience is tearing their eyeballs out of their head. Do you have any argument for why I should believe specifically that the Bible is true, as opposed to generic theism? So let's just suppose that I'm a deist who believes that a deity exists. Why should I believe that deity is the Christian God?
Yeah, because that better explains the data. Better accounts for it.
Could you be a bit more specific? Why should I believe specifically that the Bible is true, as opposed to any other holy text?
Well, you asked two different questions. You asked me if I was a deist, why I believe the Christian God is true. Then you asked prior to that, why I believe the Bible is true. I was going to respond to the second one, right? So,
because even if I believed in God, I still wouldn't believe in the Bible.
If you believe the Christian God and the Christian God is defined by the Bible, then it would just be true to the Bible.
Why should I think that?
Why is the Christian God more true than like the Islamic God?
Yeah,
I'll explain that. Because it better expect certain data. So, for example, if the Christian God was to exist, right, you better expect things like evil. You expect things like minds existing. Some things are more expected under the Christian God existing, which just increases the probability.
The Christian God doesn't explain any of that.
Can I show you why I think it does expect? I didn't say explain, I said expect, which obviously is, but does explain it, right? But can I show you why I think that?
I mean, depends. What, because there's really no such thing as the Christian God. There are Christian gods, depending on what denomination you're talking about, because there is no one specific divine profile of the deity. So which version, well, the God of the Bible isn't the God of classical theism. So I would,
what?
The God of the Bible.
Do you want to say the classical theism in Wikipedia? It says that Christianity.
I know what the God of classical theism is. It's the God who is omnipresent, omnipotent, omnipotent, who is immutable, unchanging.
That's include omnipresent.
No, that's the God of that's classical. That's classical theism. And guess what? The God of the Bible isn't any of those things.
Wait, the God of the Bible is specified to be all-knowing.
No, he's not.
All loving, all good. You could think he's not based on scripture, but they specify
the Bible specifically tells me in many instances. Why is my screen so blurry? That God isn't that God isn't all knowing.
Also, if I pull up the Wikipedia in which you cited, it says Judaism, Christianity, and Islam.
So I was correct. Because
no. You are wrong because it gives you different gods. Not just the God of Christianity, it gives you, throughout classical theism has significantly shaped the doctrines of major religions, traditions, particularly within Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. It does not specifically say that it is the God of the Bible.
Yeah. So when you make the claim,
that's just what it fucking says on the Wikipedia, the source in which you cited.
When you make the claim that the God you believe in is all-knowing, and I read the Bible and God in the Bible isn't all-knowing, then you clearly don't believe in the Bible or the God of the Bible. You believe in the God of philosophy that you're just assuming is Yahweh. No. But those two gods aren't described the same way.
It's based, okay. Are you going to cite some verse in which it implies that God lacks knowledge, such that it's a good reason to believe that he's not knowing? Because if so, that's just down to interpretation.
The Bible explicitly says that Yahweh has to travel from point A to point B in order to learn things. That's what it plainly says.
His source literally says classic theism is related to ancient Greek philosophy, particularly the works of Plato. His own source disagrees with him.
Yeah.
Can I respond to him?
Yeah, because modern day Christians don't actually believe in the God of the Bible. What they believe in is the God of the Bible mixed with the prime mover of Greek philosophy mixed together to create a new deity. But you don't actually believe in like what the Bible says about God.
Maybe Thomas believed that, but Christians even need to believe that either.
Also, somewhat of a tangent, but I actually have an interesting argument against being all-knowing. But you can finish this line of thought first before I can go off on that tangent.
No, I think I would have. I'd like to.
We'll get to that.
I don't want to divert this.
We'll get to
after you guys finish this one.
So when I read, for example, the book of Genesis, chapter 18, which I have here on the screen for everyone to see. Here, let me position it so the TikTok audience can better see the text.
This is obviously a pivot, right?
Nope, this is talking about God not being all-knowing according to the Bible.
Can you prove that's not a nice exegesis? Can you prove? Well,
we'll just read what it plainly says. How about that? You like that?
Plainly still implies interpretation, right? So can you prove that's just not nice?
Really. I mean, a 5-year-old could probably read this, understand what it's saying. It doesn't.
You can understand it without interpreting.
Yeah, it's plain. It's plain. I'm sorry, not everything is a puzzle that needs to be deciphered.
Your Wikipedia page also says classical theism was introduced into Christianity as early as the 2nd century, long after the Bible had already been written.
That's completely fine. That's not incompatible. That's not incompatible. Right? You say that. It's not in the Bible. you have like some sort of issues.
Then Yahweh said, Genesis 18:20. Then Yahweh said, because the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and their sin is very grave, I will go down to see whether they have done altogether according to the outcry which has come to me, and if not, I will know. What does that mean?
Oh yeah, I can give the explanation of this. Yeah, so look, this is pretty easy, right? It's just it's just like a condition.
To me, it sounds like God can learn something.
No, I can explain. It's just a condition of your knowledge, because certain things are true only in virtue of like certain other things being true. So you can say that, for example,
dude, I'm a normal person.
What?
Don't talk in philosophy speak. Talk to me like a normal human being. If I can't understand what you're saying as a non-philosopher person, then you're in the wrong place. So talk to me like a normal human being.
I said the word true, by the way. What was the big word that I said that you didn't understand? Can you tell me?
I don't even remember this one because it went right over my head when I heard it. So talk to me like a normal person. Why? How else am I supposed to read this other than what it plainly says?
Yeah, I'm about to explain that this is actually compatible with plain reading, right? It's real simple, right? You could just say that, some things are true only if other things are true, which is, I think we all agree on that. And you can say the events that God knows of are true only if God goes down to do the thing. So for it to be true, God must go down.
God doesn't have to go down anywhere if he's already there, if he's omnipresent.
Well, the Bible was where in the Bible does it imply it's omnipresent? Can you tell me?
Well, that's part of classical theism, that God is omnipresent.
Wait, I thought classical theism was not Christianity though, right? Didn't you agree that
this is an internal critique?
You believe in you believe in classical theism. You believe in the God of classical theism. The God of classical theism is all powerful, all knowing, all good, all these different properties. That doesn't describe the God of the Bible, though. There's an incongruence between what you believe about God versus what the Bible says about God.
That's fine, right? I was about to explain why it's congruent, not incongruent. I was about to explain that. Because under classical theism, you want to say God is ase, meaning that he's self-sufficient and he's independent of any other object, right? If that's true, all he's saying here is that for this thing to be knowledge, which it means it has to be true, that thing must be dependent on some other true thing. And it seems that the events occurring are only true if God goes down. It's like me saying to you, for instance, that,
God can't go down. God can't go down anywhere if he's already there.
We can even just say that. That's fine. That he's already met the criteria.
So did God have to travel to Sodom and Gomorrah in order to know whether or not the outcry was as bad as he has heard?
It's not logical. It's just analogical, right? It's real simple.
What?
It's analogical.
I don't know what that means.
A plain reading of that text is heavily implying that God can learn something by doing something.
Yeah, he has to.
Can you learn something if you already know everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't know everything.
What does it mean that, and if not, I will know?
Yeah, that's just saying that if this thing doesn't occur, then this other proposition isn't true, such that it isn't knowledge. It's very simple. I was about to explain. I
think the text is very simple. I think you're trying to overcomplicate it.
Can I give an example?
The text clearly says that God has to travel to Sodom and Gomorrah in order to learn. In order to learn whether or not the outcry that has come up to him is as bad as he has heard. That's what the text says.
Where in this text? So Hodge, you made the claim that it's analogical. Where in this text does it rely upon an analogy? I'm going to respond to this
first thing, and I'll respond to you after. Is that okay? I can't respond to two things at once.
That's fine.
That's pretty reasonable.
Okay.
That's pretty fair. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example, since maybe what my explanation doesn't make much sense, right? I'm saying, for example, if I said to you that I know, right, that, for example, Hodge is going to be at the bar in the future, that means that it's true that I'm in the bar. Well, I'm in the bar in the future. So for that to be true, I must be in the bar in the future. He's saying that for this event to be true, this proposition to be true, such as knowledge, he must already be there. It's conditional on him being there.
No, it's not.
Huh?
What?
Okay.
This is the whole.
No.
Well, I can give you an example.
In the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, God doesn't know if the outcry is as bad as he has heard. That's why he has to go to Sodom. It says that in the
That's
text.
your interpretation.
No, that's what the text plainly says, and you just don't like what it plainly says because it contradicts your classical theism. I know you stop trying to talk. Stop trying to talk while I'm talking. All you want to do is you're just waiting. You're just waiting for your turn to talk. You need to listen when I'm talking.
Repeat yourself.
I am the host.
Here's a good example. So it's like, say I hear that a fire alarm goes off next door, and I have to say, well, I have to look out my window and see if the fire alarm is true and the house actually burned down.
No, that would imply like the locks didn't watch. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's the point.
That's the
that's why it's analogous, right? Can I give an example?
If that's the plain meaning, that's the plain meaning of what Quantanaut just said. Unless Hodge, shut up. Jesus Christ.
Example is disanalogous.
Okay, Hodge, shut up. I am talking. First guest of the day. Shut up. All right. When Quantanaut said that he hears the fire alarm going off and he has to go and see if the fire has actually like consumed the house, how is it disanalogous? Is it because you assume? Is it because you assume? Is it because you assume that Yahweh has some properties the Bible never says he has?
Let me just explain. Can I explain? Can I answer? It's not that, right? The reason why it's disanalogous is because what's actually occurring here, right, is him saying that I have knowledge. I'll put it like this: I have knowledge that something's gonna happen.
No, where does it say happening? Where does it say that in the text?
Wait, no.
Buddy,
let me explain it. Let me finish. You're running away.
Where in the text does it state that Yahweh already knows what's going to happen?
I'm not even saying that. Let me explain. Stop running. What?
If you make an assumption like Yahweh already knows what's going to happen, I'm going to need to see it in the text. Show me where in Genesis it says that he knows what's going to come to Sodom and Gomorrah.
No one's saying that.
That'd be a weird thing to say if you did already know.
All I'm saying, right? I'll give you an example. It's very simple, right? If I say something's knowledge, that means it's true. It's true. Well, I mean, at least hopefully it would have to be true via criteria, right? So if I say to you, I know that the Bible guy is going to be here tomorrow, guess what needs to happen tomorrow? You need to be there tomorrow, don't you? For knowledge.
Did Yahweh say, I know that the outcry that has come to me is as bad as I've heard?
It has to be for him to be that. That's the whole point.
Here, I'm going to read it again because I don't think you were listening. Shut up.
It's conditional.
If we go back to my analogy,
Hodge, if you don't stop unmuting yourself when I'm trying to read the Bible, I'm going to drop you. Bye.
If I went back to my analogy, oh man, he's gone. but yeah, just to finish my thought, if I went back to my analogy, if I was omnipotent and I already knew that the house next to me burned down after hearing the fire alarm, in no way would I say, "Oh, I have to go outside to see, then I will know."
Right. Well, I'm going to read the text again. Even though Hodge didn't want me to. And the only reason I dropped Hodge is because Hodge was only waiting to talk. He wasn't listening to what we were saying. The text says in Genesis chapter 18, starting from verse, let's start from verse 17. Yahweh said, "Shall I hide from Abraham what I am about to do? Seeing that Abraham shall become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall bless themselves by him? No, for I have chosen him, that he may charge his children and his household after him, to keep the way of Yahweh by doing righteousness and justice, so that Yahweh may bring to Abraham what he has promised him." Then Yahweh said, "Because the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and their sin is very grave, I will go down to see whether they have done altogether according to the outcry which has come to me. And if not, I will know." So Yahweh is saying that the outcry comes to him. So he's not all right. It's not automatic. The outcry has come to him. And now he has to go to Sodom to see whether or not the outcry is as bad as he has heard. That's not a God who knows everything. That's a God who, like Quantanaut's example, has to learn something by investigation.
Is God a scientist?
Oh, I don't know about that. Let's not give him more props than he deserves.
I do really want to try out my omniscient argument against somebody. Hopefully, there's going to be a guest that comes along that's good enough to listen.
Yes, as long as you are able to have a back and forth discourse and you actually listen the way we listen to what you say, we can have a nice civil conversation. But if you're just waiting to talk, to say your next piece without actually saying anything, without actually listening to us, well, you ain't going to get far on this live like that.
I love that their own source, Wikipedia, disproved their claims.
Yeah, because he has no idea what he's talking about. He has no idea what he's talking about. He doesn't know about the evolution of God.
Not to mention the weird set theory argument at the beginning. He essentially jumped into the most famous paradox of set theory that's been already fixed. So
just let you know, Theus, when you come up here and you cite something, I will look it up. Like, we're not going to just let you say stuff and make claims on sources. We're going to wind up looking at them. And if they don't say what you say, we're going to call you out on it.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to read some super chats.
Judeus 6533 with the $5. Who has a more coherent theology? Supernatural or the Bible?
Well, I'd say that.
God, is that you?
I'll say that because Supernatural was written in such a short period of time by mostly the same number of people who are actually checking their work, that Supernatural's TV show is more coherent than the Bible. Now, like the Bible, there are a few retcons in Supernatural to the mythology, but not nearly to the same degree that we get in the Bible.
I prefer the theology of Bionicle, to be honest.
At GeForce.
Matanui is Lord. What can I say?
At GeForce with the $1.99. Take my money, yes. I will take your money with great gladness and joy. And then Happy Shine with the £5. I don't believe Ashland until we see evidence.
I'm sick. I look like crap. I look like poo-poo.
Well, I suppose you'll have to withhold your belief, Happy Shine. And then,
no, there's video evidence. I am in other videos.
I guess we just have to have faith.
At Connor Runa with the $2. The new 4 horsemen, Dalton, Justin, Blitz, and Ian. I'm 100% behind being part of the new 4 horsemen of the atheism. The new atheism. And GeForce again with the $4.99. Set A contains all things. Set B negates carrot. Set C is blue, therefore you swallow. Yum, yum, yum.
Yummy, yum, yum.
That's pretty close to what I had there.
Very, very important distinction.
And then at GeForce again with the $9.99. All dogs have 4 legs. My chair has 4 legs. And therefore, my chair is a dog. Checkmate. Just ignore the category errors and swallow my syllogism. Thanks, caller.
You know that's true in the Dune books.
What's true in the Dune books?
They've bred dogs to be so specialized that there are some dogs that their purpose are to be chairs.
Godless says, is the accent part of the voice changer? No, I'm putting that on specifically for the voice. I thought it would make it sound a little more pristine. Lou says, what? Lou, were you not here yesterday when I introduced the voice changer to the live? Oh man. No, well there you go. Now I read super chats now with with a sexy voice now. So anyways, make sure everyone you're tapping that screen, sharing the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends and with your enemies. Let's get the word out there so we can have some interesting conversations about whether or not why I, the Bible guy, should believe that the Bible is true. I'm an atheist who knows, I think I know the Bible better than most Christians. You're more than welcome, though, to come up here and prove me wrong. Chapter says, competing with M's right here. The voice is so nice, isn't it? So Christians.
After every time after you do the super chats, I want to say, "Thus saith the Dalton."
Thus saith the Dalton.
Also, if you can come get rid of my sickness, I'll believe you. I'll believe in your God. Come pray to your Jeebus.
Lou says, I'm surprised Christopher isn't here. Christopher who? Robin?
Also, I'm hearing a bit of an echo, I think, on your end, Dalton.
Oh. Yeah, we had the same problem yesterday. I don't know what I did to fix it, or if I can fix it.
It's not terrible, but I do hear it.
As long as the audience can't hear it. But we got David Orbit. David Orbit, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Former.
All right. Question number 3, how much of the Bible have you read?
All of it.
All right. And question number 4, what are your pronouns?
He, him, his.
All right. David, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. What brings you up to the show?
So I thought I might give you guys a little window into what it's like being so I just thought you might think that this is interesting. I was embedded in the Christian evangelicism for 30 years.
Oof.
And about 6 months ago, I was on TikTok a lot, talking on a lot of lives about my experiences with epilepsy. And the part of my brain that was affected by my epilepsy is the right temporal lobe. So a lot of my seizures would trigger mystical experiences, right? I would see like visions of God and Jesus a lot. 6 months ago, I had brain surgery, and I had a radio frequency neurological ablation, and they severed the connections in my brain that caused the seizures. And now I no longer believe in any of the mystical stuff that I believed in before. I'm completely secular.
Man, I wish you could talk to we have a troll who comes on the channel all the time. His name is Cafe, and Cafe is obsessed with mystical experiences. But I mean, you're far more logical than Cafe, because Cafe, in the face of all the information data, continues to believe in the validity of mystical experiences. You had these visionary experiences, had your brain surgically fixed, and now you don't have them. And so the obvious conclusion for you was, well, that was obviously all just in my brain. I mean, so W to David for like assessing the information correctly and
that is a hard thing to do. That is a very difficult thing to do.
After the ablation, several things happened very quickly, but unmistakably. The constant sense of divine surveillance disappeared. The emotional weight behind religious ideas evaporated. Moral thoughts stopped feeling existentially dangerous. The fear of hell and sin and judgment faded without effort, and my OCD scrupulosity just lost its grip completely.
Wow. Sounds like the surgery did hella work for you.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
A breath of fresh air, it seems.
And I didn't argue myself out of belief. I didn't replace one ideology with another. The emotional signal that made me believe something compelling me simply stopped firing. And so when it did, the beliefs collapsed on their own.
I mean, hell yeah. I mean, I'm glad for you, bud. I'm happy to hear that.
So I just wanted to spread that little story, because beliefs are inherently tied to brain states, especially religious ones.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
you? I'm
Speaking
sure.
of which, I recently just 3D printed my brain from a CT
Oh my
scan.
gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah, right.
My
So your issue was right in here, wasn't it?
Yes, it was my right operculium that they did the surgery on.
I'm sure Ashlyn has an
So,
interesting question for you. She's at psychology.
You've heard of? I'm sure in your like research on this, you've heard of the God helmet.
Yes.
So I'm sure, yeah, you've probably figured that out pretty quick. That like, so what that is basically you can have like a weak magnetic forces over, in like they have like stimulation of the temporal lobes, and you can sense a presence, and like it like I think there's like series and stuff on this too, but yeah, it's just light, low insensitivity magnetic fields can like bring apart this presence of God in some individuals. It's really interesting.
You know, Ashlyn,
God is electromagnetic radiation? What?
You know that the God helmet appeared on an episode of Evil. That's how I knew about it. But yeah, they actually put the helmet on in the show, and they end up having like mystical experiences as a result. Yeah, all in the head.
Yeah, absolutely. My identity, values, and worldview shifted as a direct response to physical change in the brain tissue.
Yeah. Well, hey, David, thank you for coming up and sharing your story. I'm definitely going to relate that story to any time I hear anyone bring up mystical experiences in the future.
I don't know.
Yeah, thanks for having me up.
Yeah, David's Orbit. We're friends. I remember being in a live with you. I don't know if you remember me, but it was a little bit ago. I'm glad. It sounds like you're doing much better.
I am, and thank you for remembering. It was nice talking to everybody. Thanks for having me up. So I'll dip so that you guys can bring somebody up.
All right, thank you, David.
Bye.
All right,
That's really cool to hear about.
Fritzella said, because energy doesn't get destroyed, only recycled, we are divine energy no matter the physical form. No, we're not divine energy, and energy isn't like as far as I understand it, is not like an actual like substance. It's a property of things, right?
Or rather, it's a combination of properties, and even then on the cosmological scale, it's not even well defined.
Right. I mean, energy is one of those words that gets thrown around by New Agers all the time and doesn't have the meaning.
And you know, another wild thing, energy is not even conserved.
It's not?
Everybody thinks that energy is... No, it's not. It's only conserved under certain conditions. When certain conditions are met, then it's conserved. But those conditions are actually not met in our universe over cosmological timescales.
Yeah. Godwin says, define divine. Exactly. That's the hard thing. Divinity is an idea that cannot be like actually defined because it is a social construct. All right. I'm going to read some super chats.
Before you do that, make sure, especially on TikTok, that you are tapping the screen, sharing out the live, sending the daily heart me, doing all your check-ins, all the things to help get the live sent out so that we can have conversations and entertain you, of course.
At Declan James with the $2. What would the Hebrew be for Holy Spirit? And the answer for that is Ruach HaKodesh. Ruach HaKodesh. Literally, Spirit the Holy in Hebrew. It's used only a few times in the Hebrew Bible. For example, David says in the Psalms, in Psalm 51, take not your Ruach HaKodesh, your Holy Spirit, away from me. Although it uses like the, third person possessive form of it. And then at New Dooms, with the $5 Australian. G'day, mate. I need to hear this voice changer again. Well, New Dooms, I hope you enjoy it.
I thought
you need to start singing like "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot."
Well, I don't think the voice changer will make me a better singer, so I don't think that'll help whatsoever. Godwin says it's better with accent. Yeah, I thought it did. I thought it would be. So, Christians. I understand that it's Sunday and you guys have just gotten off from church, but there are 134 people in the TikTok live and 440 people on YouTube. Surely there are some Christians out there who are, you know, brave enough to come up and talk to me, a old atheist, right? Duncan. Yeah, that's me, Duncan. Christians, if your spirit within compels you to rebuke these wandering atheists, step forward, join the TikTok live, and request to come up, said Ashland. Love that. JB says, puny atheist. When's Zan gonna show up? I don't know. Zan decided to, I don't know, pussy out yesterday and just didn't show up. They got muted and then decided that, well, if I can't type at y'all, I ain't gonna come up. Yeah, I don't know.
I missed yesterday's.
Listen, being a pussy, you know, I think we should take back that word. You shove a child through you and see how you feel.
Brianna says it must be cool being polytheistic. I wouldn't know. Polytheism sounds like a lot to handle. Like it's bad enough having to pray to and manage a relationship with one deity. A whole sleuth of them? No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you.
You could go like the Greek route and just like pick one of the pantheon that you just, you know, try to appease, right?
Right. I think that you can pick like a Greek pantheon. You can pick a god as your like main go-to god, but you also still have to like show respect to Zeus, for example, during certain holidays and stuff like that. I guess I'll have to ask a Greek pagan. Not a lot of them to go around though. Kashka says, "Hey Dalton, let's cook." I would love to. I would love to cook. Sadly, the Christians just aren't very Christian enough to come up today and defend their beliefs. Let's see.
Yeah. So one of the TikTok commenters said, you should see what Betty White said about the balls. And I know what they're talking about. Yeah. You know, if you like tap the balls a little too hard, y'all go screaming. You can't do that to us.
Oh my gosh. This comment right here is sending me. Herbie says, "I think it's all talk. I was born and I don't remember my mom being in pain."
Can't prove against that, yeah.
Oh my god.
You know, okay. You're right. It's not very painful. You go have one.
Oh, I think it'd be a lot more painful if I produced a child from any one of my holes, because I don't think my holes were made for that. Let's see.
They were made for that?
I mean, you know,
metaphorically speaking.
Colloquially speaking.
Colloquially.
Christians are going to come up and be like, "See, you believe in creation."
Oh God. That's some nonsense.
Yeah, if you exclaim Jesus Christ, you're like, you said the thing.
Benny, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Duncan's Donut Holes, that's us, your fans. Oh no, Queen. Oh no.
Don't like that.
Exactly. Christians think you reconverted. Yeah, no. Definitely not. Definitely not a creationist. Hell no. Someone told me that it takes more faith to be an atheist than a Christian. This is Frank Turek's talking point. He had a show, I think, that's called "I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist," which is absolute just Christian projection, because they realize that there's something wrong with the idea of like believing in something without evidence and having faith. They therefore Oh, it's a book. Yeah, thank you, Parker. They therefore have to try to turn it around and say, well, no, actually, atheists have faith, and I don't have enough faith to be an atheist. But you can't have faith in a lack of a belief. That doesn't even make any sense. And often what they really mean when they say atheism, they really mean naturalism, evolution, physics, which we also don't need faith for. We have data and evidence to support those things.
I keep saying this. If I could use faith to justify, the results I have to publish, that would make my job so much easier.
Right? Who cares about peer review? You can just say, trust me, bro. Ooh.
No, not even trust. Just have faith.
Flavored water. Kind of tastes like Dr. Pepper.
Dalton, I sent you a Discord. You have to go to the Discord, and then I don't know. You have to figure out how to read this in your voice.
In my voice? All right. On Discord?
I DM'd you on Discord.
Yeah, here, let me open it up.
I don't know who this guy is, but I want him and his tortillas. I want to dance. He had one chance. His chance was to fight back. Arnold Schwarzenegger, listen to me. These are my tortillas. I'm not going to get them up here. You have to get out of here. They're trying to kill you. Get out. Get out. Double the action. Triple the excitement. Get down. More of the excitement. Get down again. They didn't know who he was. He
You gotta read the different voices.
Oh, you mean like these are different characters?
Yeah, it's like I don't know who this guy is.
Can I request a thing for you to say?
Yeah, but wait, I don't understand what I'm reading.
It's from a comedian. He does an Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, so he switches from like the movie theater voice. I don't know who this guy is, but I want him and his tortillas. I want to dance. He had one chance, and his chance was to fight back. It's this like he's like doing the movie voice, and then he does an Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then he's like the action. You should excitement.
You should have put like a colon next to Arnold Schwarzenegger's name instead of a period. Then I would know it's Arnold Schwarzenegger talking. Okay.
I used a transcribe app from the skit from YouTube.
And then is everything how much of okay? So Arnold Schwarzenegger's "Get Out" is with the end of his line, and then double the action. I suppose that's the narration again.
Yeah, it's like the one man, one solution. Arnold Schwarzenegger this summer. Little tortilla. That's the movie line.
I'm gonna need you to rewrite this in an appropriate manner because I am not gonna.
Have you watch the video?
I'm not gonna decipher
and then
that.
You'll get it.
But Quanta has me want to say.
In a time before time, on the mysterious island of Mata Nui, 6 canisters washed ashore on a golden beach, and new and powerful legends were born.
Yes.
Is that what you?
It actually kind of sounds like the narrator in that Bionicle commercial. I love it.
Oh, is that what that?
Yeah.
Oh my god, you love your Bionicles. That's so good. Love that.
I do. It's the one true religion.
The one true religion. I had Bionicles as a kid. I had the ones that could roll up into like a ball.
The Borak. Yeah, actually, I have a bunch of them right over here. 1 sec.
There you go. Bionicle reference, everybody.
These guys.
Oh, yep. That's the one I had. Wow, that brings me back. I thought that was the coolest shit when I was in elementary school.
The lore goes so deep, you don't even know.
But anyways, we have another whole hour left of the show, and yet there are no Christians who want to come up and defend their point. So maybe I'll just change here, let's see. To this. Where's the other one at? There. Christians, if you disagree with any of these 6 topics on the board, feel free to come up and hash it out. We got Soldier CK, finally. Soldier CK. I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I'm 33.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Yes.
Question number 3, how much of the Bible have you read?
Most of it. I'll say 3/4 of it.
All right, and then question number 4, what are your pronouns?
I don't go by pronouns.
You don't go by pronouns? You'd be the
No,
first.
I don't go by pronouns. I mean,
You'd be the
you
first.
can call me a he. That's what I am. I'm a male.
But
I don't go by pronouns.
if someone said he doesn't go by pronouns, you would be upset?
No, I wouldn't be upset.
So you do go by pronouns then?
No, just because I'm not upset doesn't mean I don't go by pronouns. I just don't. I'm not one of those people
Soldier
that
always wants to be
You're-
called soldier in all cases.
But
Is
you're
that
using
the case?
you're using pronouns right now. You said I don't go by pronouns. I is a pronoun.
Yeah, I don't. That's not something I specify. Something I mean, I'm a male, like I said, but it's not something I care about too much. I mean, I know that y'all do.
So any
you don't-
then?
you don't- you don't ca- you
you'd
don't
be fine
care
with
about-
she, her?
It's not an important topic to me. Is what I mean.
You don't think English grammar is an important topic?
Well, this specific conversation is not an important topic. No,
We just want to know what to call you.
you can call me Curtis or
No.
Soldier, whatever
if,
you want.
If someone was referring
like-
to you in the third person and didn't want to use your name, what should they call you?
Well, of course you'd use he.
I mean, of
That's it.
course. There you go. There we got there eventually. Soldier, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of these 6 points would you like to discuss with me?
We can discuss really any of them, honestly.
Your pick.
We can discuss how your claim that Jesus was not the Messiah.
Sure. I don't think Jesus was Messiah because he didn't fulfill any prophecies. What say you?
Well, I would say that he fulfilled all of the prophecies in the Bible with extreme accuracy.
All right, let's start with 1. What's a prophecy he fulfilled?
Isaiah 53.
Isaiah 53, which is not about the Messiah.
Yeah, it is.
Isaiah 52 verse 13 would tell me differently.
Let's go to it.
Yeah, here we go. Isaiah chapter 52 verse 13. I'm going to pull it up on the screen so everyone can read it. It says here, "Behold, my servant shall prosper. He shall be exalted and lifted up and shall be very high." Is this the first time that the servant is mentioned in Isaiah?
There's 2 different types of servants mentioned in Isaiah.
Where do we ever see that 2 of them are mentioned?
Well, the first one is mentioned, which is Israel, which is the servant, is mentioned from chapters 40 to 49. And then when it gets to chapter 50, it switches. It talks about Israel's sin and the servant's obedience, talking about 2 different ones. And it switches from someone who will take on the sins of the world, who will be pierced and crucified.
In which verse does the change occur?
The change occurs in chapter 50.
Okay, let's see. Isaiah chapter.
This is true. It seems like bad writing.
Yeah, let's take a look and see where in chapter 50 the switch occurs, because I'm unaware of this. "Thus saith Yahweh, where is your mother's bill of divorce, with which I put her away? Or which of my creditors is it to whom I have sold you? Behold, your iniquities you were sold, and for your transgressions your mother was put away. Why, when I came, was there no man? What's with that? You got whatever you just changed, Soldier. Change back, because you got an echo now.
My bad, go ahead.
Behold, okay, why when I came was there no man? When I called, was there no one to get answer? Is my hand shortened that I cannot redeem? Or have I no power to deliver? Behold, by my rebuke I dry up the sea. I make the deserts their fish stink for lack of water and die of thirst. I clothe the heavens with blackness and make sackcloth their covering. The Lord Yahweh has given me the tongue of those who are taught, that I may know how to sustain with a word him that is weary. Morning by morning he wakens my ear to hear as those who are taught. The Lord Yahweh has opened my ear, and I was not rebellious. I turned not backward. I gave my back to the smiters and my cheeks to those who pulled out the beard. I did not face from shame and spitting, for the Lord Yahweh helps me. Therefore I have not been confounded. Therefore I have set my face like a flint, and I know that I shall not be put to shame. Have we gotten to the change yet, or is it still yet to come?
Yeah, but it's right there. No, it started
Where?
in verse 4, and it goes all the way up until what you talked about.
Wait.
Well, first of all,
Where does
it says
where does it
this-
signal a change in servants?
Well, first of all, let's go to verse 5 where it says, the sovereign Lord has opened my ears and I have not been rebellious. Israel has constantly been rebellious. That's why they needed the forgiveness of their sins. So this cannot be talking about Israel.
Here,
and if you continue on, it talks about how his cheeks.
Let me test something real quick. I'm going to test your reading comprehension. If I write a book, me, the Bible guy, if I write a book and I say while writing this book, I have not done this, I have not done that. Who's talking? Who's the I?
Probably the author, but it depends on what you're talking about.
Yeah, it'd be the author.
Because
in this case, the I here in chapter 50 is a reference to the prophet who is responsible for this section of the book of Isaiah. They're the ones talking. When it says the Lord Yahweh has opened my ear, that's referring to the author, the prophet behind the section of Isaiah.
You know, it's not. You know what prophetic future is?
No, prophetic future is not a real thing.
Yes, it is a real thing. It's where you're establishing a prophecy has already happened in the future, and that's what he's talking about.
No,
and whenever we can show that Jesus fulfilled it whenever he was brought before the Pharisees. When they struck him, they put a blindfold over him, they beat him and said, "Prophesy who hit you," and he didn't speak to them.
It's irrelevant because prophetic future is a made-up concept by Christian apologists. It's not an actual real concept within Hebrew grammar.
Well, that's not a rebuttal. That's just your opinion, because it is a thing.
Why should I believe in the prophetic future? Why shouldn't I just read the text for what it plainly says? When the author of 2nd Isaiah says that God has opened my ear and I was not rebellious, why should I not think that this is a reference to the author of 2nd Isaiah?
Because if you took everything in the Bible literally, then you would not be a well-informed individual.
Not literally. Plainly, there's a difference.
Yeah, because there are some things are analogies, some things are.
No, I need you to listen to what I said. Not literally, plainly, and there's a difference. And this is not an analogy. And all this is just the author saying that God opened his ear.
Hold on, I went through it. I read 50. I have a major problem with this. If this is about Jesus, it ends in vindication. It does not end in resurrection.
Well, vindication would be his resurrection. They say he'd be vindicated through his resurrection.
Yep.
Not in this. Not with the language that it uses. At the end, at 11.
In verse 11, behold, all who kindle a fire, who set brands alight, walk by the light of your fire and by the branches which you have kindled. This shall you have from my hand. You shall lie down in torment.
Yeah, isn't Jesus supposed to be saving Soldier?
Yeah, he's supposed to save him. He had to be tormented. He had to go through the
No. Who is being tormented?
I believe Jesus.
Not in this verse.
Here, maybe I should finish.
He cannot be the suffering Simon and.
Hold on.
Maybe I should finish reading this passage so that we can actually get the context here for servant's sake. Okay. So this is the servants. This is the prophet speaking, saying, "The Lord Yahweh has opened my ear, and I was not rebellious. I turned not backward. I gave my back to the smiters, and my cheeks to those who pulled out the beard. I did not face from shame and spitting, for the Lord Yahweh helps me. Therefore I have not been confounded. Therefore I have set my face like a flint, and I know that I shall not be put to shame. He who vindicates me is near. Who will contend with me? Let us stand up together. Who is my adversary? Let him come near to me. Behold, the Lord Yahweh helps me. Who will declare me guilty? Behold, all of them will wear out like a garment. The moth will eat them up. Who among you fears Yahweh and obeys the voice of his servant, who walks in darkness and has no light, yet trusts in the name of Yahweh and relies upon his God? Behold, all of you who kindle a fire, this is the enemies that he's talking to, all of you who kindle a fire, who set brands alight, walk by the light of your fire and by the brands which you have kindled. This shall you have from my hand. You shall lie down in torment.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was talking about Jesus or their enemies.
But this is the enemies of the prophet, not Jesus. I don't see any, there's nothing in the text that would indicate to me that this is anyone other than the prophet of 2nd Isaiah.
Yeah, well, the prophet of 2nd Isaiah didn't go through these things, and when we go to the New Testament, we show that Jesus fulfilled this prophecy.
How do you know that the author of 2nd Isaiah didn't go through these things? He says he did.
No, he didn't. Show me where he went through those things.
He's telling us right here that he went through those things.
No,
this is his
no.
own
Back
testimony.
up your point. Show me where he says. Show me where he does those things.
Well,
I can show you where Jesus does those things.
It says.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't matter if I can show you a narrative where the author of 2nd Isaiah has his beard pulled out. The fact of the matter is that he says it.
So you can't back up your claim. That's what you're telling me.
I can back up my claim.
You're not able.
You're not doing it.
You're not able to back up your claim that this is about Jesus, because when you could say it's about Jesus if it says something like he will offer his cheeks to be smitten and his beard to be pulled out. But no, it uses first person pronouns. I know you don't like pronouns, but pronouns are important. When an individual uses a first person pronoun, it tells us that they're referring to themselves, not to another person. That's how language works. That's how Hebrew works. Hebrew's no exception.
Yeah, I don't mind pronouns.
And even if we do grant that this is like some kind of weird metaphor, that metaphor doesn't seem to like serve any purpose. Then why didn't he just say it plainly?
Why would he have to say it plainly? He describes it. He describes his crucifixion. It went in detail about what he's going to go through.
Why doesn't he just say he and not I?
Yeah.
Huh?
Why
doesn't he say he and not I?
Yeah, why would the prophet
say
because it's a prophecy. That's why it's a prophecy.
Prophecies don't work like that. Every time I see an actual messianic prophecy, the prophet refers to the future king using a third person pronoun, he. The name by which he will be called will be Yahweh Zidkenu. They say he when referring to someone else. The author of 2nd Isaiah never uses the word I to refer to anyone other than himself. We don't see this anywhere in Hebrew grammar. The only reason
would make sense too, because it would just add confusion. Like, why would you make it more confusing than it has to be?
Oh, it's not at all. Like I said, it's we can show that the Old Testament documents came before the New Testament documents, and that Jesus fulfilled these prophecies. Precisely how they pulled on his beard. He was said before he did not speak whenever they beat him.
Only if you ignore what the text actually says.
No, we're not ignoring what the text actually says.
Yes, because
we're showing how he fulfilled
it doesn't use third person pronouns.
Even if, where in 50 does it call him the new suffering servant? Where does it change that at all in this?
Well, first of all, it shows it in the title, right? Israel's sin and the servant's obedience. And then when you go down
fun fact, buddy.
Those titles aren't there.
I know. They were added there. I got you.
Added by who?
Whoever was, I don't know by who, but that doesn't matter. What I'm saying.
No, it does. It does. Was it added by a Christian, maybe?
Okay. Probably, yeah.
By a Christian who already believed that this was about Jesus beforehand?
Probably an expert in his field, yeah. Not just a random Christian.
I wouldn't call people who are dogmatically bound experts in their field.
No, that doesn't still answer my question. It doesn't say the servant is a new servant. It just says the servant's humiliation and vindication. Like, we already know who the servant is. Yeah. Even if that is the case, that is fine. It does not say that the servant has changed. It's implied by that language that the servant is still the same servant as in Isaiah 41, as in Isaiah 47 or 8, and so on and so forth. That is a implication that the servant is still the old servant in which previously was mentioned.
I
It's
think
not, 'cause
I think
put under verse.
Where does it
talks
say it's
about how.
changed?
Okay, hold on. Give me a second to speak, guys.
I think Soldier's problem here is that he thinks that when we say that the servant is Israel, that this means all Israel at all time. That's not what scholars mean when they say that the suffering servant is Israel, CK. It means that the servant is referring to specifically the righteous remnant of Israel.
Righteous remnant. I'm learning something.
Yeah, it's not right there. Within Israel, there are wicked Israelites, and then there's the righteous remnant. The servant is referring to the righteous remnant within Israel, which would include the author, the prophet behind Second Isaiah, which is why it says about the prophet in the previous chapter 49 that it's not just his job just to redeem the rest of Jacob, but also the nations. Now you can respond.
I'm learning something from these streams now.
You don't see where in this it says that the servant has changed to Jesus. It implies by that title that it's the previous servant. Where in this text, in the specific, where does it say it's changed?
Okay, my bad. I had to turn my volume down for a little bit. So, verse 5 talks about how the sovereign Lord has opened my eyes.
Did you just admit that he wasn't listening?
No, CK,
I guess I'm just the pitch of my voice means that he's just not going to listen to me.
I'm
showing you.
Shut up. I'm going to repeat what I said because you didn't hear, and I will keep repeating. And in fact, when I get done saying what I'm going to say, I'm going to have you repeat back to me so that I can make sure. Oh, he ran away.
He's gone.
He ran away. What a bitch. What an absolute bitch. Don't you dare fucking tell me that you just turned down your mic because you were just basically just admitted to me and to the entire audience that you weren't listening. You only cared about making a point. You didn't care about receiving any information. I actually went to Isaiah 50, like you said, because I wanted to see what your point was. Sadly, you just didn't fucking have one. Can we get some runners in the comment section? Actually, I wonder if I can get a... real quick, let's see. There we go. We got a runner.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah. Wow.
Track star.
Okay, I guess I'll read some super chats then.
The Borak didn't like that one.
Oh, he's back. Are you going to listen to
my
what I
bad,
say
got
this time?
disconnected there, guys.
All right. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I know you made some memes about running, but I'm
gonna say again what I said. I'm gonna have you repeat back to me so that I can know that you didn't just turn down your volume. You actually listened to what I said. So within it, the servant isn't all of Israel. That's not what we mean when we say that the suffering servant is Israel. That's not the position of like the scholarly consensus. The idea is that within Israel there are wicked Israelites and there is a righteous remnant, which would include, for example, the prophet of Second Isaiah. That's why in Second Isaiah in chapter 49, it says that the servant's job is to not only to bring back Jacob, which would be the wicked in Israel, but also the nations. Now, I'm not going to just believe that I no longer means I here, that when the prophet uses I, he's not referring to himself. You need to give me a good reason other than your bad theology to believe in this, that I doesn't mean I.
So you want me to give you a reason other than the truth?
Bad theology is not the truth. You can presuppose that it's the truth, but you're not going to be able to demonstrate that it is the truth.
Well, we can demonstrate it by showing that you don't have evidence to back up this is about somebody else, and I have evidence to show that Jesus fulfilled it.
That's just what the word I means.
That's the difference.
The evidence.
What does the word I mean?
Evidence is
CK?
the definition of the word I.
Where does he fulfill it? Show me where Isaiah fulfills this prophecy.
It's not a fulfillment. It's something that happened in the past.
Okay, show me where he did this. Show me where he did this in the past.
Yeah, he says it. Okay, here.
Show me where.
In Isaiah 50.
Back up your evidence.
In Isaiah 50.
Back it up.
In Isaiah 50.
Back up your claim.
Isaiah 50. When someone
Isaiah 50 is
Isaiah 50
making a claim.
No, it's not a claim. Okay, here's my claim. When someone uses the first person pronoun, they're referring to themselves. Do you disagree with the statement?
You can use it for different reasons.
Show me a valid way in which someone uses a first person pronoun and they're not quoting someone else and they're meaning someone else besides themselves.
If I said I went to the store what are all the possible interpretations of what I could mean?
The only possible interpretations that it could mean is that it is about the person that wrote the book, or it's about something that's happening in the future.
I'm asking a very specific question. If I say I went to the store, what are the ways that you could interpret what I said?
Well, that's not exactly right. It's the false equivalence. We're talking about very specific
Well, just
things
answer the
that would happen
question
to
so we
somebody.
can establish that before we move on.
Well, if you said I'm going to the store and I'm going to meet
No,
somebody,
I went to the store. If I said I went to the store.
Yeah, if you're going to say I went to the store and no, he's not saying.
Just focus on this one example for now, and then once we establish that, then we can move on.
All right, go ahead.
My question: if I said I went to the store, what are the valid ways to interpret what I said?
The only valid way to interpret what you said is that you went to the store.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Now
So
that we've established that, Dalton, you can continue.
Yeah.
So that does not explain anything. That was the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
And also, in Quantinon's
That was
example,
the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It wasn't. You're just too stupid to
Y'all are
understand the
supposed to
point.
be intellectual.
It was intellectual. Now, also in his example, Quant said, "I went to the store." Tell me, Soldier CK, what tense is the word "went"?
Obviously, that's past tense.
Okay, the Hebrew word "natati," when it says "givai natati lamkim," or when it says "I gave mine back," what tense is "gave"?
Past tense.
So it's not the future.
In your specific scenario, no, it's not the future.
So what you're trying to say to us is that when the prophet uses the first person pronoun, it doesn't really mean first person. And when he uses perfect tense or past tense words, it's not actually past tense, it's future tense. So suddenly no word, all rules of grammar thrown right out the window. Words don't mean words.
No, we can show that it's prophetic future by looking at what he uses to.
I don't believe in prophetic
Could
future.
not be him.
There's nothing in the Hebrew.
It says he has not been rebellious.
There's nothing. Oh yeah, the prophet hasn't been rebellious.
He has. Everybody sins. Everybody falls short of the glory of God.
That's
so it could not be about him.
No, that's the opinion of Paul, but obviously the author of Isaiah.
That's
thinks
not the opinion of Paul.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. You can say that, but the whole Bible is the word of God. Paul was commissioned by Jesus.
Nope. If you want me to believe that the Bible is univocal,
didn't have to meet him.
I don't care. If you want me to
the Bible
believe
contradicts itself a lot.
Yeah. If you want me to believe that the Bible is univocal and that if Paul says something, then it must be true univocally across the Bible, you're going to have to demonstrate univocality. Can you do that?
What does that mean? Univocabulary or whatever?
That the Bible speaks with one consistent voice beginning to end. Can you demonstrate that there's one meta author who is supervising the entire book and that it has only one meaning from beginning to end? Can you demonstrate univocality? If you can't, I'm not going to assume it. And Paul giving his opinion about people sinning, I don't care.
Well, the Bible presents a harmonious message from Genesis to Revelation, so I think that shows that it's written by.
It doesn't.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't.
It does.
No,
I mean, we just covered earlier in this live
we were
about
playing I
how
Remember Your Glue.
It's contradictory about if God is all-knowing or not.
Yeah,
the Bible's written in such a way that it keeps people out that aren't truly.
For example, Soldier CK, can God change his mind?
Yes, God can change his mind.
What about when it says he can't?
Well, he's talking about his nature.
Oh, so we're just inserting things into the text that aren't there. So that's the only way you can make your position work.
Hold on. Does God say I can't change my mind?
Yep. Numbers 23:19.
Where do you say I can't? Let me see. Look.
Yeah, I'll open it up so everyone can see.
Wait. If God can change his mind, doesn't that mean that he's not outside of time either?
Yeah, that's a whole problem in and of itself.
And
for
therefore
sure.
He didn't create time, and therefore didn't create the universe. This opens up a huge can of worms.
What does Numbers 23:19 say?
It says, God is not a man that he should lie, nor a son of man that he should change his mind.
So he doesn't change his mind. Well, and by the way, what's that Hebrew word what's that Hebrew word for change mind?
I'm not sure.
Here it is right here. Vayitznecham. So he does not vayitznecham. He doesn't necham. Now, when I go to Exodus 32, we go to the story of the golden calf. We read in Exodus 32, verse 14, it says, Vayinachem Yahweh al hara'a asher diber la'asot la'amu, and changed his mind, Yahweh, concerning the evil which he was going to do to his people. He does change his mind here. Uses the same exact word, nacham. So does he nacham or does he not nacham?
No, he uses that word. So so God predestined everything from the beginning. So if he doesn't change his mind, he slowly unfolds his plan.
Okay.
And second of all, this verse.
But it just said he did.
Yeah. Okay. CK, does God nacham or does he not nacham? Which one is it?
I wouldn't say he changes his mind. I say he unfolds his plan.
Does he necham or does he not necham?
Exactly what I said. I wouldn't say he changes his mind.
Nope.
So I'd say no.
I gave you two
but
options.
He unfolds his plan.
Here, I gave you two options. Option A, God does necham. Option B, God does not necham. Which one is it? A or B? Pick one.
Dalton, I'm laughing. Sounds so dirty.
A or B, CK? A or B?
I say not.
A or B? He says not necham. He does not necham. Well, then
That's what I said.
Then Exodus 32:14 is wrong because it says that he does necham. Vayinacham Yahweh, and Yahweh nechammed.
You totally verbed that noun.
So what? So does he?
Or not noun.
So is Exodus 32:14 wrong?
Let's see.
Wonder what ChatGPT says.
I necham all the time.
It'd probably say something like, it's part of the divine mystery.
Sometimes I necham and I not necham. It's just part of being a woman.
It's harder for women, yeah.
I pretend to necham.
Wait.
Wow. Same brain cell.
So, have we come to a conclusion yet, Soldier CK, as to whether or not Exodus is true or Numbers is true?
Well, we know that Numbers is talking about how God is not the same as man in his moral failure. So that's what Numbers 23:19 is talking about.
So, because he's not immoral, he doesn't necham. That's what it says.
Talking about his moral because he's not immoral. Is that?
No, the text says here. Let's read the text again. You were too busy scrambling to find an apologetic that you didn't mind reading the text. So, Numbers 23 verse 19. God is not a man that he should lie, or a son of man that he should, when it says he repent, this is Old English, that he should change his mind, is the Hebrew word, is the same exact Hebrew word, vayitnecham. This word, it says he doesn't do it here. And in Exodus 32, verse 14, it says he does do this word. Lo ish.
Yeah, the word repent means to change your mind. Yeah.
Yeah, so
he's not like the son of man that he should repent or change his mind.
Here in 23:19 Numbers, it says he doesn't do this word. And then in Exodus 32, verse 14, he does do this word.
Honestly, it doesn't even matter what the word is. It's like clearly just a contradiction.
He does X or he doesn't do X. Substitute X for anything.
So it looks like the Bible's not consistent. It looks like what you would expect from a series of books written by different people, that different authors have different theological beliefs concerning what God is and can and can't do. So
Not at all.
It's like fan fiction stacked on itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's talking about how God doesn't change his nature, right? God can change his mind.
No.
He can.
Well,
he
no,
can,
no, no,
he
no,
can
no, no,
place
no,
new
no,
rules.
no, no.
Yep.
Where does the word nature occur in Numbers 23:19?
It doesn't have to say it in 23:19. It wouldn't be a perfect God if he could change his nature.
Well, I don't care what you are inserting into the text. We're not doing any eisegesis. We're doing exegesis here. By the way,
Yeah,
people,
so please quit looking at.
By the way, people,
You might want to take your glasses off.
The way you can remember which one is which, people, exegesis is you're Xing out Jesus because you're not reading him into the text, and eisegesis is when you put things into the text that aren't there. Because when Christians engage in eisegesis, I see Jesus everywhere. But anyways, so
also if
mocking doesn't make hell less
if
hot.
God is atemporal, isn't his mind inherently part of his nature? Like,
mocking God doesn't make hell less hot.
Oh, okay, guys. By the way, this is basically Soldier's concession to the debate because when Christians began to start going off using threats of hell, it basically means, quote in translation is, I don't have an argument against what you're saying, therefore I'm just going to try to scare you into like not making that point by talking about hell. You've conceded the point.
Not at all. Haven't conceded at all.
Then don't use empty threats.
Then
love that Jesus love, don't you?
Yeah.
Hell is about as scary as the dark, except the dark is real.
Ooh, good quote. Love that. So Soldier CK, it looks like Numbers and Exodus just don't agree with each other because first, I'm not going to read the word nature into the text when it's not there. The text says that God does not change his mind. It doesn't say he does not change his nature. We're not reading things into the text that aren't there. Christians do that, but weirdly enough, we have more respect for what the Bible actually says than Christians do here.
Yeah, no, you don't. And it's talking about it does not have the same moral failure as man does.
And part of that, and what's part of that moral failure that he doesn't do?
If he had a moral failure, that means he'd be able to change his nature.
No. Where's the word nature?
His nature is perfect.
Where's the word nature in the text? Stop reading things into the Bible that aren't there. Show me where it says that he does. Where in 23:19 does it say that God does not change his nature? Where does the word nature occur?
It implies it.
Nope, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
And as I said, regardless,
this is sad.
Read it again.
His mind is part of his nature if he's atemporal, right?
Yeah.
Like, am I going crazy or?
You're not going crazy.
No, if God was like man, he would change.
It says God is not a man. So that's the first statement. God is not a man. He's not mortal. And as a result, what does he not do because he's not a man? He's not a man that he should not lie. So he doesn't lie. And then, or a son of man, which is a Ben Adam, which is a human being. He's not a human being that he should change his mind. Human beings change their mind, but because God's not a human being, he doesn't change his mind, according to Numbers 23:19.
Yes, it does not say God is a man and he doesn't lie.
In Genesis, right?
What was that, Quentin?
We could also go into how God lied to like Adam and Eve, right? That you shall surely die and all that.
We'll get to that.
He didn't lie.
We'll get to that as soon as Soldier is able to like be honest about what Numbers 23:19 actually says and doesn't say. So, here, Soldier, does the text say that God is not a man? Lo ish el.
That he should lie.
Okay, I'm asking parts, and I'm trying to ask parts because you can't seem to take the whole verse, so I'm taking parts at a time to sort of slowly grab you into the text. So, lo ish el, God is not a man. Is that what it says? What does that mean?
Without the full context, yeah, it says God is not a man.
Okay, and that that he should lie. What does that mean?
That he should lie. It means that he's not like man, that man would lie for certain reasons and do it for certain things, and they would justify it. God does not do that. God does not lie.
So God does not lie. Okay.
He's not like man.
He's not a son of man or a Ben Adam. What's Ben Adam? It means a human being. He's not a human being. That he should what?
Change his mind. Repent.
Okay, he can't change his mind. But what does Exodus 32 say? Verse 14.
Well, the original says repent, so it would still fall into changing your mind, meaning repentance.
Well, It doesn't mean repentance like turning away from sin. Repentance and that would
Yes, it does.
Nope, that would be the Hebrew word teshuvah. Don't pretend.
The original word even says
Nacham, which means to change your mind. Teshuvah means repentance, like turning away from sin. Now, it doesn't matter because in Exodus 32 verse 14 it says that Yahweh did Nacham, and in Numbers 23 verse 19 it says that he does not Nacham.
Yeah, like I said, one more time, the 23:19 is talking about he's not like man, that he should do these things. He doesn't have to repent. He doesn't need to lie.
And yet he does this thing that he says he doesn't do in Exodus 32 verse 14. Vayinachem Yahweh al ra'ah. And what does this word mean? Is this the same word used in Numbers 23:19?
Yeah, you said in Exodus.
What's this word? What's this word right here? It's Nacham, right? Nacham?
I can't see where you're pointing at, but yeah, I think so. I think that's where you've been trying to get me.
Sorry. Here. There you go. The word Nacham, correct? It's highlighted.
Okay, yeah.
All right. I turn to Numbers 23. And when it says that Yahweh doesn't do this thing, the thing that he doesn't do is
Strong's H 5162. Nacham.
Well, that's Nacham. I don't know why it's saying that's a patach there, not a K. But anyways, it's same word, right?
So yeah, it says Nakam can mean to be sorry or to have compassion or to withhold judgment or to change course based on new conditions.
So does he do this thing or not? Don't read the Strong's dictionary.
Withholds judgment.
Does he Nacham or does he not Nacham?
He Nakams to withhold judgment. Yeah, it means different things.
Nope. Don't read. Don't read to me the Strong's dictionary. You're not gonna get any favors here doing that. We don't do the Strong's dictionary here.
So, Soldier, after you explain that, you have a number of other passages to explain too. Just FYI, because God changes his mind several times in Jeremiah 18:10. But if he does evil in my sight, not listening to my voice, then I will change my mind about the good that he had intended to do. So he clearly doesn't know the future in that one. And then we go to Jonah, Jonah 3:10, I believe. Yeah. When God saw what he did, how they turned from their evil ways, God changed his mind about the calamity that he said he would bring upon him, and he did not do. So he does this more than once.
Yep. So clearly he does do this thing that it says he doesn't do in Numbers 23. Clearly, I mean, but you're never going to concede on this because you are so dogmatically bound to your dogmatic presuppositions that the data will never sway you. You don't care about what the Bible actually says. You care about what the dogma of your particular church says.
No, I don't care about biased opinions.
It also just doesn't make sense that an all-knowing God would ever change his mind because he already has all information and all logical thought processes before anything ever happens. So why would he ever need to change his mind?
Well, he responds to human choices.
But he already knows what those choices are going to be, doesn't he?
To provide a story, right? To be a part of the story.
But he already knows the end.
So just because he knows it, just because he planned it, doesn't mean he can't be a part of it.
So when the Bible says he changed his mind about Nineveh, he didn't actually change his mind. The Bible's not relating truthfully what's actually happening.
We want to understand what the authors are trying to portray and showing how he responds to their choices.
I don't think you're capable of actually giving us, telling us what the authors portray because you have dogmatic presuppositions that you're bringing to the text that you're not yet to be able to substantiate.
In all three occasions,
that's not an ad hominem, you idiot. An ad hominem. One second. An ad hominem is when I insult you without addressing your argument. I have addressed your argument and then called you an idiot. That's not an ad hominem. That's just an insult. Don't fucking use. I don't know what it is about Christians.
At this point, it's just an assessment.
Yeah, at this point, I don't understand why Christians on TikTok don't know the true meaning of the word ad hominem, but every time you use it wrong, you make yourself look more and more like an idiot, which again is not an ad hominem because I've addressed the point and then insulted you.
Directed against the person rather than position they are maintaining. It's exactly what you're doing. You're attacking me instead of providing a comment instead of attacking the
Translation. Yeah, anyways, Soldier CK, this has been boring as hell and unpleasant because you're not able to be honest. So
God bless you.
And may the force be with you and go fuck yourself. Anyways, can I get some baby bottles in the comment section for all the whining and bitching that CK did today?
That conversation was more of a circle than this.
Oh man. All right. I'm gonna read some super chats now. Let's see. Oopsie. There we go. All right.
Dr. Wasambla with the $5. I just knew the pronounless soldier would start with Psalm 53, I'm presuming Isaiah 53, because that is what has been drilled into Christians as part of the indoctrination. It's true. That's all they know is Isaiah 53, and they don't even know the literary and historical context to the text. And then again, Dr. Wasambla with the £5 again. My bad. I meant Isaiah 53. Good reason to tie it again. Now I can say, hi Dalton et al. Well, hello, Dr. Wasambla. Good to see you as well. And then Dr. Wasambla again has gifted one Bible Guy gift membership. Bully for the one who got the membership. And then Dr. Wasambla again with the $10. The £10. What an MVP. Words don't mean words. You're assuming that pronounless soldier understands how words work, even after demonstrating that I is a problem for him. I guess in his context, this tithe nicknamed. At the very beginning of the conversation, he did not know the meaning of the word that I was a first-person pronoun, so the fact that he doesn't know how the word I would be used in the book of Isaiah, not at all surprising.
I think they're saying before that when we were asking for his pronouns.
Yes,
and
exactly.
then he couldn't. He said, I don't have pronouns, which is... We need to start asking them if they think that they're better than Yahweh, because clearly, the God of the Bible says, I am he. Pronouns aren't, too good for the God of the Bible, so...
And his pronouns are unconnected to anything between his legs, because according to them, God doth not have a penile. Anyway...
that we know of.
We know of. How we shine with the £5. Wait. Now I've nachamed. We've all nachamed all over Soldier PK's face. It's fun. And at
I disavow.
At Menhotep with $1.99. He's dead, Jim. The Gospel of Timothy. Don't understand the reference, but I'm glad to have read it, nonetheless. And then at Dr. Wasambla again with the £5. It has been established that the Strong's Concordance is weak. Also, God seems to love Nechamen. Replace the second A with a U. Nechamen all over his people. Absolutely.
Yeah, like God Nechame's all over the place, and yet he doesn't do it according to Numbers 23:19. That's just simple reading, but Christians lack very simple, the ability to read very simple words and understand them. I thought it meant lying. No, the text says in Numbers 23:19 that he can't lie and he can't change his mind. It says both those things. How'd he get Mary pregnant? Magic. Yeah.
Also, if he can't lie, is it outside of his power to lie, or is it that he just chooses not to?
That's the age-old question, of course. which no Christian, I mean, Christians are going to say that he's incapable of doing it, but at the same time, not omnipotent, I suppose. A truly omnipotent God could lie, but lucky for them, why does my camera keep going out of focus? I have disabled the autofocus. But lucky for them, the God of the Bible does lie, so not a problem for him.
Yeah, he lies in Genesis.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to with the you shall definitely die or something like that.
Yeah,
you shall certainly die.
On the day you eat of it, you shall surely die. But of course, for them, words don't mean words. We're going to bring up Michael A. Michael A. as our next guest. Michael, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Hey, Dalton. Yes, I am, and I'm a Christian. I've read the whole Bible, and it's he and him.
All right, look at that. I mean, guys, I mean...
How it's done.
So,
and
Michael, which one of the 6 points did you want to come up and discuss with me?
I've heard some good things about you, and I've only heard the previous chat you had, and I would just like to keep the conversation going about the last 2 things. I just got some thoughts about the last 2 things you're talking about in terms of God changing his mind, and maybe we can start there.
All right. I'll just ask you very simply. The Hebrew word for to change mind is nacham. According to the Bible, can God, yes or no, can he nacham?
Can I give an analogy? Because I understand it sounds crazy if you say God can't do X, God does X. It's like a straight up contradiction.
It is a contradiction.
Look at it that way. I just I found in life, some things are a bit complex and layered. And it's like, to me, when I look at those 2 scriptures, it's like if I told you, hey, I know this guy, he's really trustworthy, you can trust him. And then someone tells me that they heard he had a deal with one of his kids, that if his kid tidies his room, he'll give him $10. And his kid hadn't tidied his room. And then later his kid tidied his room, and so he changed his mind and gave his kid the $10. So in one case, he's still a trustworthy guy, and if he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. And in the second case, he changed his mind, but it's in a different way. The first part of the story is saying this guy, when he commits to do something, he's trustworthy. And in the second case, it's talking about what he is going to do changed in consequence to the actions of his kid. Does that make sense?
Can I ask a question? Do you think God is omniscient?
Omniscient. Or knowing. I would say yes.
So he already knows the outcome of every decision that everybody makes?
Yes.
So shouldn't his mind already be made up no matter what people do?
Sorry, I lost the last 3 seconds. I was turning up my volume, but I turned it the wrong way. I apologize.
Shouldn't his mind already be made up if he already knows what people are going to do?
I agree. And when I read these kind of verses where it's relating to in the Bible that God looked into something or learned something, I see it as them trying to make God understandable. If you got this being that is so above us, we're going to have to compare him to ourselves so that we can understand what he's like. And so if I say, I got 3 kids, if I say to them when they're playing outside, okay guys, come inside, wash your hands, because there's buggies in the sand and they're so small you can't even see them, and if you touch your mouth you'll get sick. And then the scientists
I'm sorry, I apologize to interrupt you. But I have a really big problem about this because, like, both instances are contradicted by Jonah 3. When God saw what they did and how they turned from their evil ways, God changed his mind about the calamity that he said he would bring upon them, and he did not do it. There's verses that contradict both those things that you just mentioned.
And if God is all-knowing, okay, it's either, okay, Exodus 32 presents us with two options about God. Either God is all-knowing or God is a liar. That's the only two options we have here. Are you familiar with the story of the golden calf?
Yes. So I read my Bible every day, but I'm not a scholar. So I know in general, but I haven't yeah.
Let's see what God's response is to the people of Israel building a golden calf and worshiping it. Yahweh said to Moses, "Go down at once. Your people, whom you brought up out of the land of Egypt, have acted perversely. They have been quick to turn aside from the way that I commanded them. They have cast for themselves an image of a calf and have worshipped it and sacrificed to it and said, 'These are your gods, O Israel, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt.' Yahweh said to Moses, 'I have seen this people, how stiff-necked they are. Now let me alone so that my wrath may burn hot against them and I may consume them. And of you, I will make a great nation.'" Was this a true statement on Yahweh's part?
Now let me be alone. My wrath may. I guess so. Yeah.
So Yahweh was told Moses that he was going to destroy the Israelites and then start over with him, Moses. But doesn't Yahweh already know that he's not going to do that?
I'd say he knows that Moses is going to defend the Israelites and appeal to him.
And that he'll end up not doing the thing he did, because in verse 14, and Yahweh changed his mind about the disaster that he planned to bring on his people. So either God didn't know that he was going to change his mind and he was going to start over with Moses, in which case he's not all-knowing, or he lied to Moses and wasn't actually going to start over with him and always planned on not murdering his people.
He really likes to change his mind when it comes down to his homicidal tendencies. This is a theme that I'm starting to realize.
So was he lying to Moses? Was he not actually planning on starting over with him?
I would say, being omniscient, he knew how it was going to play out, and the account we're reading is like them describing what happened there in terms of, so we can understand what God's like.
What was this a true statement on behalf of what God did? God accurately say this? "And of you, Moses, I will make a great nation."
Yes.
But he knew he wasn't going to make him a great nation. So telling Moses, "And of you, I will make a great nation," isn't a true statement.
Oh, I see what you're implying there. That, okay, he's saying, okay, move aside, and then I'm going to make a great nation out of you. So I think he's saying there, now let me alone, so that my wrath may burn hot against them, and I may consume them. Yes, so he's saying, let me alone, that I may do this and this and this. But Moses didn't leave him alone.
But
he appealed to him.
Yeah, here's the problem, though. If God is all-knowing and knows the future, then he knows that he's not going to make a great nation of Moses, and that Moses is going to die in the wilderness, and that he's not going to destroy his people. So if God says to Moses, "Step aside so I can destroy Israel, and I will make a great nation of you," that's not a true statement. He's not telling Moses what's actually going to happen. He's not being truthful.
To me, I see it being true, because he's saying, Moses, step aside, because I'm going to do this.
But he's not going to do
Moses
this.
Knows.
Did God destroy the Israelites, and did he start over and make a great nation of Moses?
No, he didn't.
Okay. So when he says, "And of you, I will make a great nation," Is that a true statement or a false statement if God's all knowing?
So it didn't happen because the first part of the sentence didn't happen.
Now let me alone.
No, it's not saying if you stand aside, I will do this.
Yeah,
He's saying
there's
stand
no if.
aside because I am going to do this.
I would say when God asks us questions and we get these sort of verses.
He's not asking a question. He's making a statement. There's no question here. He just states that he tells Moses to move to the side because he's going to destroy the Israelites and then start over with him. There's no question here.
Okay, I'll just try to finish my point. Sorry. When God asks a question and we see this kind of dialogue, I think it's for our benefit. Like when he
question?
Called to
What question? Where's the question?
I hear that I'm not trying to pivot. I am trying to explain it.
Yes, but your question relies upon God asking a question, but there's no question here. This isn't this isn't a question.
I hear you. So maybe you could give me the grace to maybe say 3 sentences to try explain it. Okay. So in verses like this where I think they're trying to explain what God's like. We try, the point of the Bible is to try to reveal who this God is and what he's like. And so when we see parts like this, and when we see, like say in the garden, when he asks Adam, where are you? You know, God, he knows where Adam is, but he still asks Adam, where are you? And he interacts with him, or he asks people questions. It's not because he doesn't know. It's because
I'll ask you the question. Then I'll ask you again. Where in Exodus 32 verse 10 is a question being asked of anyone? Where's the question?
Also, if this doesn't get anywhere, I would like to do my omniscience argument, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. As soon as I get an answer from him, we can run the quantum question. So where in verse 10 is there?
Question there.
There's no question. So this is.
I was just trying to.
So what you just said was completely irrelevant because we're not dealing with Yahweh asking a question, a rhetorical to anyone. He just makes a statement. So is the statement true or false?
I see it as, leave me alone, and then I'll do this thing. And Moses didn't leave him alone. So he didn't do the thing.
He said,
how I interpret
he said,
it.
and of you I will. No, I will make a great nation. Is this a true statement from Yahweh?
It's correct me if I'm wrong about the grammar, but it doesn't seem to be saying that if you stand aside, I will do this, and if you don't stand aside, I won't do it. He's saying stand aside because I am going to do this.
Yeah, he doesn't. It's not.
Yes.
It's not contingent on the first part of the sentence.
Yeah, there's no condition here.
No.
So when God says to Moses, "And of you I will make a great nation," is this a true statement?
If you read a lot of the Old Testament, like each page is, if you obey me, I will bless you. If you don't,
where's the word if? Show me where in this sentence the word if is found.
Okay, there's no if here, but
all right.
I'm talking about.
So
when
there's no if here. There's no question mark. So let's stop talking about all these other passages. We're dealing with Exodus 32 verse 10. Is this statement here, and of you I will make a great nation, a true statement?
It says, now let me alone so that, leave me alone so that I will da-da-da. But he didn't leave him alone.
It's not saying if you leave me alone, I will. He's saying, leave me alone, so I will.
Yeah, he's not.
So is not if.
Yeah, so is not if. Moses doesn't do the leaving alone until the next verse. Yahweh has tell Moses to leave him alone, so that he can his wrath may burn hot against them, and I may consume them, and of you I will make a great nation. This is not conditional. This is Yahweh giving a command to Moses to step aside, and that he is going to start over with Moses. Is it a true statement or a false statement?
Okay, well, if we put it in logic, I see it as, now leave me alone. Okay, that's the precondition. So that X, which is my wrath will burn hot.
That's a command. Leave me alone is a command.
Yes, so that my wrath will burn hot. So if you leave me alone,
do you think,
then my wrath will burn hot.
The ability of God depends on what Moses does?
Is that it's a relationship.
Oh,
but do you think like God physically cannot do something unless Moses stands aside?
Obviously, he can do it, but God is a relational God, and he interacts with us. And
step by step, what's happening in the text is God tells Moses to step aside, and he wants Moses to step aside so that he can kill the Israelites. And then what's the last thing he says to Moses?
It says, so that my wrath will burn hot against them. So if he steps aside, his wrath will ramp up.
And then what's the last? And what does he say to Moses will happen?
Make you a great nation.
Okay, and I will not just make you a great nation. I will make you a great nation. Is this a true statement or is it false? You get two options. I didn't ask what you think it's saying. I'm asking you, is this a true statement or is it false?
It's true in the sense that if A, then B, then C, then D.
There's no if.
So if I say...
There is no if. If is not in the text. Stop inserting. I don't know why Christians are so hell-bent on shoving shit into the Bible that's not there. But the word if doesn't occur in the text. Stop putting words into the mouth of the Bible. There's no if.
Okay, what if...
This is going in a circle. Would you mind if I...
Yeah, we're going to move on to Quantanauts because you're not going to be able to be honest with what the Bible says, Michael. So, Quantanauts,
can I just say one more sentence that's a bit different?
I don't care.
So I have this argument that I don't think it makes sense for a being to be omniscient due to an interesting property of mathematics. Would you like to hear it?
I might not be intelligent enough to track, but I'll try my best.
We'll go through it together, right? So,
okay.
God is omniscient, meaning that he knows all true facts, right? Including all like mathematical facts, right?
Okay.
But would you agree that that's what that means?
Yes.
Awesome. And when you say you know a mathematical fact, I would interpret that to mean that you have justification for knowing why that mathematical fact is true, meaning that like you know the proof of why it's true. Would you agree?
If you know the proof.
Yeah, to say you know a mathematical statement, like if you say I know 1 + 1 = 2, that means that you know the proof of why 1 + 1 = 2, right?
Is that not just intuitive in that we see two objects?
It kind of goes without saying, but I just want to be clear with that. That's what that means when you say you know something. You have the justification, in this case, the proof of why it is true.
When you say, like, would you prove 1 + 1 = 2? Like,
you start from the axioms. You start from the axioms of mathematics, of like how the plus is defined, how equivalence is defined. And then go from these things called the Peano axioms all the way to 1 + 1 = 2. There is actually like a series of logical steps to get you there.
Okay. All right.
So you'd agree to know a mathematical statement, you need the proof of why that mathematical statement is true.
Well, I know 1 + 1 = 2, but I don't know the proof that you're talking about now about Peano.
Well, I would argue that if you don't have the proof, you don't fully know it. You're just sort of accepting it. You need to have justification for your belief to have knowledge.
Would I?
Or say maybe we can give a bit more advanced called like the mean value theorem in mathematics. To know the mean value theorem means that you know why the mean value theorem is true.
To know the mean value theorem.
Yeah, it doesn't matter the specific thing. It's just like you need the proof in order to have knowledge about the thing.
Okay, if we go back to just keeping it simple for my level, the 1 + 1 = 2. Like I have an intuitive understanding. I see one object, I see another object. I know the label for when I see that quantity object is 2. So I know that's true, but I can't prove it via mathematical
Well, you can.
proof.
You can. There's these things called the Peano axioms, P-E-A-N-O, not piano.
Okay.
The Peano axioms, which like first define what the natural numbers are, and then define these operations that you can do on them, like the plus symbol, the minus symbol, equivalence between them. You need to like define all these things first, and only then, once you have all these definitions, then you can do the logical steps to go, oh yeah, when I do the addition operator on 1 with itself, then it takes me to the next natural number 2.
So you're saying because I don't know that formal proof, I don't fully understand 1 + 1 is 2.
I would argue that, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see where your next step may be.
Sure.
I'm just getting stuck at the beginning here.
Sure.
Sorry.
Well, the whole point is that in order to have knowledge of something, you have to have justification for believing it. And in math, we call that justification the proof. That's essentially right. However, there is a very interesting aspect of mathematics called the Gödel's incompleteness theorems. And one of the consequences of these theorems is that in some axiomatic systems, the ones capable of algebra, there are going to be true statements that no proof exists for. Like there is no actual way to get from the axioms to that true statement. No proof exists. And therefore, if a God is all-knowing, he would know the true statement, but he also would not have the proof for it, and therefore he would not have justification for believing a true statement, therefore he would not have knowledge of it.
I think you need someone smarter to run that on, because for me, 1 + 1 is 2. I don't know the proof. I know it. I think I know it. I believe it. Yes. I can't remember. It's been so long. Trying to think back to, we had to learn for, in maths, you had to learn certain proofs, and in the exam you'd write out maths is like a toolkit.
The reason why those proofs are important, because that's the justification for believing the conclusion.
Yes. Or the proof that it is
once
true.
You have that justification, then you can say you have knowledge about it.
Yes.
So, but the issue is that there are some true statements that don't have a proof. This is a very weird property of mathematics. There are true statements that have no proof for them. And because of that...
we assume... are you saying we can only assume it's true by trying various combinations, and we see it's always like this, but we don't know why? So we can have some
essentially,
formula that
there is no way to justify these true statements. And we won't know that they're true. We can never know because there's no proof. But we can show that there will always be some statement. We may not know what they are. There will always be some statement that is true, but we will never have a proof for.
Do you have an example of one of those?
Well, almost by definition we can't, but to give you maybe an example, there is something called the Collatz conjecture. It's a very, very famous math problem, or sometimes it's called the 3n+1 conjecture. It's a very simple claim, but despite having existed for many years now, nobody's been able to find a proof for it being true. It's possible that this is one of those cases where it is a true statement, but there might not be a proof for it, which would be, very weird, but possible.
Yes, and can we prove that it's impossible to prove it, or do we hypothesize a proof
that's the
doesn't
thing.
exist?
We don't know. All we can say is that there will be some statement. We don't know what they're going to be, but there has to be some statements that are true that we have no proof for being true. We just know that they exist. We don't know which ones they are specifically, because if we did, then we would have proof for them being true, and that would be a contradiction. But all we have to show is that there is some claim. There is some mathematical statement that you can make that is true, of which no proof exists. And the Collatz conjecture might be one of them. No, not currently.
Okay.
Never. Like, the whole point of the incompleteness theorems is that there are statements that can't have a proof.
And so when you say this Collatz conjecture problem,
that one might be one of these cases. It might be the case
but
that
there's
no
others.
proof can exist for it. I mean, it's certainly
Do you
getting
have
more
any-
and more likely. The years keep going on, and we keep not finding a proof for it,
Yes.
for or against it. So it could be one of these
do
cases.
Do we have an example of one where we've proven that there is no proof for it?
We can't, because if we did that, then that itself would be a proof that it's true. So this is sort of the weird
I see
issue
what you mean. Yes, okay. Yes,
if you had a
proven-
specific example, then that would disprove the example. All the incompleteness theorem is saying is that there exists some mathematical statements. We can't know which ones they are. There exists some mathematical statement that is true that no proof exists for.
Are you
I know it's
saying
very
that if
counterintuitive, but it's a very interesting consequence of
I think
mathematics.
I understand high level, and I'm just interested if there's a mathematical, say, formula, and we can prove that you can't prove it, does that mean that it's not true?
I think you're getting mixed up. You can never prove that you can't prove it, because then that itself would be the proof for it. So,
But what you mean by
all
that
we
would
know
be
is
the
that there
proof
is
for it?
sort of this nebulous. There exists some statements. We can't know which ones they are, but we know that some exist.
But are those not two different properties? One proving the statement's true, and one proving you can't prove the statement is true. Is there maybe not? Those are two different properties. One could.
Well, you would have
which
to know that
two.
it's true to know that you can't prove it's true while also being true. That's a tangled thought, but hopefully you get the idea.
Yes, but I'm just interested in, like, to me, I would imagine that those are two different things. Like maybe making a claim and saying, is that claim true?
I think you
or
might
let's
be able
use
to. There might be some statements of which you can say either it is true and no proof exists for it, or it is not true. You can make that claim, but you can't just do the first part, because otherwise you would know it has to be true, and that itself would be proof, and then that would be a contradiction.
So to make it a bit more real, say I said, we can't prove Jesus is true, and
well, it has to be something, and like an algebraic statement. So, say the Collatz conjecture, for example. It's possible that the Collatz conjecture is true. It's possible. We have not ruled that out. We haven't proven it to be false yet. But we also have not found a proof for it yet either. And it's possible that no matter how smart we are, no matter how much ingenuity we apply to it, it could be the case that the Collatz conjecture is true, but there's just no proof for it. There's no way to actually get from the axioms of algebra to the Collatz conjecture being true. There's no link between them, even though it is actually the case that the Collatz conjecture is true. But in this case, if there's a God who's omniscient, he would know that the Collatz conjecture is true, but also he wouldn't have a proof for it either. There can't be a proof. And therefore, he would have belief in a statement without having justification for that belief, which therefore is it's by definition not having knowledge.
Is this not maybe a little bit like a contradiction in terms of can God lift a rock? Create a rock too heavy for him to lift. No. Can God understand because something that you can't prove the understanding thereof?
The whole point is that we would show that God believes all true statements, but because there are some true statements that can't have a justification for believing them, therefore he can't have knowledge about those statements. And if he's missing knowledge about certain statements, then he's not omniscient, because that's sort of the definition of being omniscient, to have knowledge about all true things.
But if a proof doesn't exist for it, and he doesn't know about it, then that sounds congruent with knowing everything.
Well, then there would be a true statement that he does not know about, and that's also against the definition of omniscient. To be omniscient is to have knowledge about all true things, right?
Yes, but if a proof can't exist for it, then all the knowledge you can have about, say for example, Collett's conjecture, there is no proof. Say there is no proof if we just pretend or
right.
Grant,
say it is true and that there is no proof. Let's say it's the case.
So then say God understands how to apply it. He knows that it yields the right result. He knows no proof exists for it.
How does he know that, though? What would be his justification for knowing that?
Just like maybe intuitively, or like how we know that. How do we know it's true?
Well, the way we know mathematical statements to be true is because we have proofs for them. That's the whole point.
Do we know Collett's conjecture is true?
We don't know.
Oh, okay.
And it might be the case that we can't know.
Okay, then maybe he knows. He'll either know, be able to run all numbers through it and compute it's true or not true, or by running all numbers through it at one point hit a number where it's false.
So you're trying to say that he can just brute force calculation test all natural numbers?
If he's infinite, I mean, I'm not holding on to this strongly. I'm just
sure.
Engineering point
that is an interesting claim, but and I did use Collette's conjecture just as one example. I'm sure you could probably find other cases by which
you can't
just punch in every single number.
Yeah,
that is an interesting counter argument, I will say.
Yeah, but to me, I would say it smells a little bit like can God know something that doesn't exist? Can God know a proof that doesn't exist?
I thought that at first too, and then I thought about it. It's like. It makes God's knowledge look like a brute fact rather than like a reasoning, which like kind of limits. And it wouldn't it like redefine math, Quantinaut?
I mean, the thing is that we can, as I said, we can show that there are true statements that have no proof, and if the issue is the definition of knowledge here, that in order to know something, you have to have justification for believing it to be true. And if we show that there are true statements that have no justification, that there is no possible way to get justification for them being true, then you can't believe it and have knowledge about it.
Oh, well, that's an interesting thought, and I thank you guys for the chat, and I appreciate you guys. And you guys are very smart and very knowledgeable. And I'd love to come back at a later point in time. It's really late where I live. And thanks for having me.
All right. Have a good day, Michael.
Cheers.
Okay, we're going to bring out
I should find another example that you can't just plug it all numbers in for. I'm sure that there's something that could fit that definition.
Yeah. We're going to bring in one last guest, and then we're going to end the live so that everyone can go watch the Atheist Experience later tonight. So, this guest, and then I'll read some super chats after the guest. Guest, you don't have a username I can see. So, first and foremost, what should I call you?
User.
User. All right. User, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions. I'll ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
No.
All right. And then I'll skip question 3 and go to question 4. Are you, what are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right. User, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. What brings you up to the live?
I didn't actually listen to the whole conversation, but I think I actually have some things to say about the argument that Quanta something gave.
You just call me Quanta.
Quanta. I didn't listen to all of it, but your argument was like, because of Gödel's incompleteness laws, there are some things which could not be shown to be true or false.
There are true statements of which no proof exists.
I don't know, like, I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm pretty sure that it's saying that any axiomatic system cannot will always have something.
It's any axiomatic system capable of algebra.
Okay. So I guess the question here that I have for you is, I thought it stated that like any axiomatic system individually will always have things that cannot be shown to be true or false. But not that there is like not an axiomatic system that could hypothetically show that thing to be true or false.
Well, it's saying that in any axiomatic system capable of algebra, there will be statements that are true that of which no proof exists.
For that system, though, specifically, right?
Well, yeah, within working under the axioms of that system,
right.
Yeah.
So,
in theory, you could expand the axioms and then prove that statement in like a larger set, but that's not really the claim I'm making. It's true within the axioms of that system itself.
Okay.
If you start adding axioms in there, then you're no longer talking about its trueness in relation to those original axioms.
Okay. So, I mean, like, I haven't really thought about this very seriously, but if there, I mean, for practical purposes, I'm an atheist, but you know, assuming that there is a God that is outside the universe, would they be subject to? I mean, like, would they be subject to these, like, to Gödel's incompleteness theorem? Like, would they not have like a perfect description of the universe?
Theorem it's just a proven fact about these systems of algebra, right? Like, if we're going to say like God has knowledge about all true mathematical statements, then we're talking about like their trueness in relation to the axioms of those systems, right? It doesn't matter if God is even like if we admit that God is outside logic, whatever that means, certainly like his knowledge is in relation to the axioms of whatever systems he's forming beliefs about. Like I could say, I believe that 1 + 1 is 2 is true in relation to the Peano axioms. I can say that because I have the proof for that.
Could you say that one more time?
Sure. I kind of fumbled that a little bit. I can say that 1 + 1 is true in relation to the Peano axioms because I know the proof of how you get from the axiom of the Peano axioms to 1 + 1 is equal to 2. In the same way, I would expect God, if he is truly omniscient, that he could also say the same thing about all mathematical statements, that he knows which statements are true relative to their axioms.
Right.
And if he does have that justified knowledge, then that would mean that he not only knows that they are true, but also knows the justification of why they're true within that system itself.
Right. So, I mean, is it like controversial, or like is there an issue in saying that he would just have knowledge about all these axiomatic systems and what they prove?
Well, yeah, I mean, you could say that he just knows all the true statements that have proofs, but to be truly omniscient, you would also need to know just all true statements in general, including the ones that don't have a proof. And
Well-
if he knows the ones that, if he believes the true statements that don't have a proof, then he doesn't have justification for those beliefs. And
Are
that's
there-
not what
are there-
knowledge is.
Okay. Are there statements that can't be proven?
That's what the incompleteness theorems say, that there
Well,
are true statements that can't be proven.
Right, but like, wouldn't that be?
Fellas, I
Yeah.
do have to get and go and walk the dogs as much as I'm enjoying this, but Quantanaut does go live himself. So user, if you want to finish this conversation on one of Quant's lives, when do you go live usually, Quantanaut?
I'll actually probably go live in like maybe an hour or two.
Well,
Okay,
there you
I'll
go.
stop by.
All right, fantastic. I'm gonna read some super
Thank you.
chats real quick, and then we're gonna wrap up the today's live. So,
At Jim with the $49.99. I'm Nihamed from Laughing. You always deliver, Duncan. Y'all are my faves. And I much appreciated, Dr. Jim. You are one of our favorites as well. And then at Adam Toner 8007 with the 27 Swedish kroner. Now do a Swedish accent. I don't know if that was any good. And then finally, there you go. Not sure Jim is in right there. And at Declan James with the $5. Can you rearrange the screen so that when you have a browser window open, we can still see your face? I like your face, and I don't think I'm the only one. Well, Declan, whenever I get a new setup, and I'm further away from the screen like Justin usually is, Justin usually takes up about this much of the screen, then I'll be able to like have more open space for browsers and whatnot. But until then, I'm afraid that this is the situation we are currently stuck with.
and with that, I would like to thank Quantanaut and Ashlyn for both showing up today and helping out. Much appreciated, y'all. If you aren't already following both Ashlyn and Quantanaut, make sure you're doing so. Make sure you are also following the Bible Guy on TikTok and following our YouTube channel if you're subscribing to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. And we will be going live again at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time on Tuesday. And don't forget, everyone, I think that this upcoming Tuesday and the following Monday, I will be on 2 different shows on the line. So keep an eye out for those things. And with that, I've been the Bible Guy. Remember, everyone, to...
Wait.
Oh,
Daniel's
great.
live.
Oh, yeah. Daniel Green. Everyone, go over to Daniel Green's live. Tell him that the Bible Guy sent you. Send a raid over there. And with that, I've been the Bible Guy. Remember, everyone,
to keep reading and keep learning, and happy holidays.
not. Bye.
Born from dust and questioning fire, wielding truth like a sword of desire. Ancient scrolls and cosmic flame, he tears through myth, he breaks the chain. Echoes of prophets, the stars align, knowledge and thunder intertwine. Reason ascends where blind faith fell. He reads the word and he reads it well. The Bible Guy, seeker of the light. Through time and fire he rides the night, with reason's blade and wisdom's cry. The world shall hear the Bible Guy. Scrolls of ages, words of flame. He dares to question every name. From Eden's dawn to Calvary's sky, he breaks the chains of every lie. Yeah.